Nobody saw this coming. These weren't just trucks. They were battlefield monsters hiding in plain sight. What you're about to see isn't normal transport. These machines reshaped war, survived impossible terrain, and still shock collectors today. At first glance, they looked like ordinary trucks. Nothing special, just metal, wheels, and engines. But something was shifting in the background of World War II, quietly at first, then all at once. Armies needed more than speed. They needed machines that could carry destruction itself across mud, snow, and broken land. And that's where things got strange. Trucks stopped being support vehicles and started becoming battlefield weapons on wheels. Artillery transport, tank recovery, missile movement, everything depended on them. These were no longer just machines. They became rolling legends of war engineering. But here's the twist. Decades later, these same machines are now worth more than luxury cars. Collectors hunt them like treasure, and what makes them rare is what they survived. And now, we begin the countdown. AEC Matador 4x4. It starts in Britain, late 1930s, a machine built not for speed, but pure reliability. The AEC Matador was simple in appearance, but under that body sat a 7.6-liter engine, pushing around 95 horsepower. Not much today, but back then, it was enough to drag artillery through hell. And this is where it gets interesting. In North Africa and Europe, terrain wasn't just rough. It was deadly. Mud, sand, broken roads. And yet, the Matador kept moving. It became the backbone for towing 3.7-inch anti-aircraft guns, holding entire defensive lines together. But after the war, something unexpected happened. Many were stripped, rebuilt, even turned into civilian trucks, logging vehicles, campers, recovery rigs. That means original military versions today? Extremely rare, and when one appears at auction, collectors lose control. Studebaker US-6. Now imagine this, an American truck becoming a Soviet legend. That's exactly what happened with the Studebaker US-6. Built during World War II and sent through the Lend-Lease program, over 200,000 units crossed into the Soviet Union. And here's where the story shifts. These trucks didn't just survive war, they survived Russia, ice, mud, frozen roads that swallowed entire convoys, powered by a 5.7-liter Hercules JXD engine producing around 94 horsepower. It wasn't flashy, but it never stopped. Soviet soldiers even gave it a nickname, American Camel, because it could go forever without giving up. Arctic missions, supply runs, deep frontline logistics, it handled all of it. But today, almost none remain in original condition. Most were destroyed or rebuilt beyond recognition, and that makes surviving US-6 trucks almost mythical. GMCCCW353 Jimmy. Now we hit something massive. The GMCCCW353, but soldiers called it Jimmy. And honestly, it wasn't just a truck, it was the entire Allied supply system on wheels. Over 500,000 were built. Think about that number. D-Day landings, European campaigns, Pacific operations. This truck was everywhere at once, powered by a 4.4-liter engine, producing around 104 horsepower. It wasn't about speed, it was about survival under pressure. And here's the crazy part. It wasn't limited to one role. One moment, it's carrying fuel. Next moment, wounded soldiers, then rockets, then ammunition. It adapted like it had no limits. But after the war, most were scrapped, melted down, forgotten. Which is why today, finding a fully original Jimmy is like finding a ghost from World War II. Scammell Pioneer. Now hold on, because this next one didn't just move supplies, it rescued the impossible. The Scammell Pioneer wasn't designed to fight, it was designed to pull the war back together when everything fell apart. Originally a civilian design, it was transformed into a military recovery beast, and under the hood sat a massive 8.7-liter diesel engine, not built for speed, built for force. Real, raw pulling power. And this is where it gets intense. It could recover tanks, entire artillery pieces, vehicles stuck in mud so deep they looked permanently lost. Around 30 tons of recovery strength in battlefield conditions. After the war, many were reused in logging and industry, but military versions, especially intact recovery setups, extremely rare today, and heavily prized by collectors who understand what they represent. Diamond T 980/981. And now, things get heavier. The Diamond T 980/981 wasn't just a truck, it was a moving force of destruction logistics, built to carry tanks that weighed more than houses. Inside, it roared a 14.7-liter Hercules diesel engine, producing around 185 horsepower. But numbers don't even matter here. What mattered was torque, pure dragging power. It earned a nickname on the battlefield, tractor truck, because that's exactly what it did. It pulled 40-ton tanks like they were cargo crates, and it didn't care about mud, damage, or terrain. But here's the part that hits differently. After World War II, most were destroyed or scrapped. Too big, too expensive to maintain. So today, surviving units are museum-level rare, and when one appears at auction, it becomes instant history. Mac NM 7.5-ton 6x6. And then, the battlefield gets heavier again. The Mac NM 7.5-ton 6x6 wasn't built to look powerful, it just was. Under its long frame sat an 11.6-liter gasoline engine producing around 170 horsepower, but the real story wasn't speed. It was raw torque and control under pressure. This truck existed for one purpose: moving the heaviest artillery the US could throw into battle. 155mm howitzers, recovery missions, frontline logistics. It handled all of it without hesitation. And here's what makes it interesting. It didn't care about comfort or finesse. It was pure utility. But after World War II ended, most of these machines disappeared quietly, scrapped, abandoned, rebuilt beyond recognition. Today, finding an original Mac NM in working condition feels almost impossible. That's what makes it one of the rarest American artillery beasts still remembered. Tatra 813, Kolos 8x8. Now hold on, because this isn't just a truck. This is Cold War engineering pushed into overdrive. The Tatra 813, Kolos 8x8 looked like something built in a lab for war domination. A massive V12 air-cooled diesel engine, 17.6 liters of displacement, powering pure mechanical aggression. And then comes the part that changes everything. A 20-gear transmission system. Not a typo, 20 gears. It allowed the truck to crawl, climb, or power through terrain that would stop anything else instantly. And it wasn't just strength, it was intelligence in design. The central backbone chassis made it flexible yet unbreakable, and the 8x8 system gave it unmatched grip. It carried missile systems, radar platforms, and heavy military cargo across Warsaw-packed territories. But today, restoring one is a nightmare. Parts are rare, knowledge even rarer, and that's why it's a collector's dream. Kraz 255 B6x6. And now, we go straight into Soviet brutality. The Kraz 255 B6x6 didn't try to impress anyone. It just refused to break. Powered by a massive 14.9-liter V8 diesel engine, it was built for one thing: survival in the worst environments on Earth. Mud, snow, rivers, frozen wastelands. It didn't matter. This truck kept moving. It served across Vietnam, Cuba, Syria, and multiple Cold War conflict zones where terrain destroyed everything else around it. And yet, the Kraz kept going like it had nothing to lose. But after the collapse of the Soviet Union, many were abandoned or stripped for parts. And that's where its legend changed. What was once common became rare. Today, collectors chase surviving units because they represent raw, unfiltered Soviet engineering strength. Mancat 8x8. Now the story shifts again. And this time, it's NATO engineering at its peak. The Mancat 8x8 wasn't just built for war. It was built for unpredictable war. Powered by a 320 horsepower diesel engine, it delivered speed and strength in a way few military trucks ever managed. And here's where it gets interesting. It had an automatic transmission system, something rare for military vehicles of its time. Combined with locking differentials on all axles, it could move missile systems, radar units, and heavy cargo across Europe with shocking efficiency. It also carried NBC protection systems, meaning it could operate in nuclear or chemical environments. That alone made it a Cold War powerhouse. Today, surviving units are extremely rare, and collectors treat them like modern relics of military engineering evolution. MAZ-5378x8. And now, we reach something almost unreal. The MAZ-5378x8 wasn't just a truck, it was a nuclear-era transport monster. Inside it roared a 38.8-liter V, 12 diesel engine producing around 525 horsepower, but even that doesn't describe its true power, because this machine could tow up to 50 tons, tanks, missile systems, entire mobile nuclear platforms. It didn't move cargo, it moved Cold War strategy itself. And for decades, it was the backbone of Soviet heavy transport doctrine. But here's the catch. Maintaining it today is nearly impossible. The systems are complex, parts are rare, and knowledge is fading fast. That's why when one appears at auction, prices explode. It's not just a vehicle anymore, it's a Cold War artifact. And when you step back, everything changes. These machines were never just war tools, but symbols of engineering pushed to its limits. From World War II battlefields to Cold War missions, they shaped how armies moved and survived. Today, they reappear in auctions across Europe, the US, and Asia, often priced between £70,000 and $180,000 or more. Restoration is difficult as parts, manuals, and expertise are fading. Yet their value keeps rising. They carried tanks, missiles, and entire battles forward. Surviving mud, ice, and time itself, these trucks didn't just survive war, they survived history, becoming unforgettable mechanical legends. These legendary military trucks were more than machines. They were lifelines of war, survival, and engineering genius. From frozen battlefields to modern auctions, their legacy continues to grow. Which of these unstoppable giants impressed you the most, and which one deserves the title of ultimate war machine?